Happy Sunday, cousins. It's your favorite cousin's favorite cousin, Elle. Welcome to the Trap House. We're going to do Trapstrology of the week, a little bit more Eclipse energy of the week, and then we're going to talk about what these cards have in store for us. So, hope that you guys had a great weekend. Hope that last week was good for you. We were in the eclipse buildup. Now the eclipse is 16 hours away, give or take where you live. So adjust your time. It will be occurring tomorrow at 2 a.m. CST time. So adjust your timing for where you live at. But we've been able to feel this build up all week. It has been an energetic shift. If you are not feeling new, I mean, forget the eclipse. If you're not feeling like finally spring is here, then I don't know what's wrong with you. You might not even be human. So push into the newness, push into the unknown, push into the unexpectedness of everything. It really is beautiful. And even when it's unexpected, some things show their face before they actually come into fruition. Some things are internally known prior to it actually coming to culmination. Some things we know it to be true, it's already been proved, and we just turn a blind eye to it. So even when the unexpected occurs, it was just the unwanted. You just did not want it to happen. This is Eclipse Eve that we are in today. You can ask yourself, what parts of myself have I picked up along the way for survival? Out of pure, sheer survival. Last week on the Libra lunar full moon eclipse reading, we talked about how we are going back to our safety zone and not our comfort zone. So this week is survival skill. What did we pick up that was out of sheer instinct and survival skill, and that if we had not used it, we would not maybe have survived the situation, the trauma, the experience? I learned a long time ago that when you are a child that goes through a certain level of trauma, your brain says, "Oh no, this is such a bad thing." And I'm sure this happens in adulthood too, but I say childhood because it's been proven scientifically that anything that happens to a child before the age of 11 will stick with them way worse, or way more rather, than if it was to happen to them when they are in their preteen, teenage years. It's almost like you can bounce back from it as long as it's not, severe trauma. But anything that's traumatic that happens to a child under that age, it is ingrained in who they will become. We also talked last week about how the neocortex forms before we're even out of our mother's womb, or before we are fully developed. So 3 months before we come out of the mother's womb, that is when we are picking up our memories and how we process information and new memories. So all of that is coming into the survival umbrella, things that we have adapted to survive. So the brain gives a band-aid to the traumatized brain and says, no, this is too much for them. If they keep experiencing this, they may experience shock. Shock can kill you. Sometimes it's not even the actual wound that kills a person, it's the shock that kills them. So the brain says, nope, let me just block this off for them. And when I feel they are ready, which may be never, or that's where a trigger ensues, then we will face this problem. Then we will face what's happening to this person. So when we think about that, again, the relationships that we have picked up, the practices that we've picked up, our beliefs that we have picked up along the way because of trauma. If we come from an impoverished situation, we may believe that poverty is the only way. If we come from only seeing gangbangers and streetwalkers, we may believe that those are the only two job options in the world, completely blind to the fact that we could wait tables. That it can be that small of a jump, or it could be failing to realize that you were supposed to be a doctor or a healer or a priest or what have you, because of the trauma or the environment that we were born into. That, on a whole nother tip, we actually chose because past life energy, Akashic records, our soul remembers. Our soul remembers. So we all stood in front of the Akashic Council prior to us coming here. And they were like, all right, what you want to do? You've already been a king. You've already been a queen. You've already been a rat. You've already been a roach. You've already been a leaf. You've already been a car. You've already been these things. You've already been a royal priestess. You've already been these things. What do you want to do now? And you could have done it again. You could have chosen to do those things again. But the thing about mastery and learning from it, once you've mastered it, it gets bored. And then that's when you have an idle mind and you might get into some shit that has nothing to do with you because you've mastered something, so you should have graduated and gone on to the next level of mastery. And it may be hard at first, which is our life experience this time. When we go through our trials and our tribulations, especially when you go through a lot of childhood trauma and tribulation, that can be very impactful and, again, completely derail or impact the way that you make decisions or have belief systems or connect to people throughout your life, and a survival skill. But then what happens when the trigger shows us that, oh shit, this is just a survival skill? I really am not this person in my core. This is not who I was. For me, my point of awakening and awareness, and even my point of recentering, is always my daughter, because she is the most pure, potent form of me. She is me if the world had not happened to me. So I protect all of that. My ancestors protect all of that. I make sure that she is protected, because she is the one who inherited the baton. She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. I was just a portal. The things that I went through, the traumas that I ensued, who and what crafted me into being who I am, that can never touch her. Oh no, she has to go walk her other path. That is who I am without the pain. So she's going to make decisions not out of survival. She's going to make decisions because it felt good, because life was amazing, because I didn't have to struggle, because I didn't have to suffer in said ways in order for me to develop a new coherence to life. And again, under the Libra full moon lunar eclipse, remember the lunar is the internal, the you thing, not the world. The world's going through their own thing, as we can see. Kate Middleton, Diddy, all them fools, everybody in the industry to fail. The Nickelodeon babies, the Disney childs. We can see it all. It's just crumbling and rumbling and bumbling. And what I always tell my clients is, if you can see on the grand scheme of things, on the world stage, that things are massively changing, drastically changing, what is happening to your world? Just take that back. Take all that huge and bring it back down to the scope of you. And that's the lunar eclipse. The world's going through their own thing. So you expecting somebody to coddle you or care that you're going through what you're going through is futile. You need to be realizing that, oh my gosh, I'm going through what I'm going through, and I'm aware of what's happening astrologically. I always say that anybody who's in tune with astrology or human design or just anything spiritually, when you are in tune, when you know what's happening energetically, you have a cheat code. You have 1 foot ahead of the muggle, so to say, of the person who's like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind, I don't know what's wrong with me, blah, blah, blah. You being tuned into what's happening gives you a cheat code. Therefore, use your cheat sheet. Use your cheat sheet. Chill to the next episode. There's no reason for you to get all ramped up and involved in it. So this first eclipse that's happening in a matter of hours, we can already feel the shift. We can already feel the change. Hopefully you're letting it move you. Hopefully you're moving into the groove of what's trying to now be carved into the record that is you. I always like to think of our actual physical life experience as a record. And that a record, and I might be showing my old age because I'm 38. I just look young, millennial. Anyway, a record, you can get to the track, but you got to know exactly where to drop that pin in order for you to get to the specific track. Okay. And so in order for them to create a new track, they will have to create a new groove that goes around the record in order for there to be a new track, a new symphony, a new song, a new vibration, new frequency. And that's what we are all experiencing in this game of life. We are building new rings on our record, new tracks on our record, and that groove. Like, we like to believe that it's perfect and it goes, exactly symmetrically as it should. But it wasn't perfect at first. It wasn't perfect when they created the record creating machine. There had to be some imperfection. The first records was probably wobbly. And if you even check sometime on a record, if it is a little wobbly or there is a little mess up in the groove, it'll skip. And depending on how bad the groove skip is, it might just skip the whole fucking song and go to the next one. But sometimes it'll skip and jump right back into the play and keep going. It's just all about the frequency, the focus, and that's our life. That's where we are. So allowing this eclipse to help us smooth out the grooves, help us go round to become the whole part of ourselves, the new whole part of ourselves, is what's immensely happening right now. It's trying to wash it away. A fun fact is Easter changes every year because it follows the first eclipse of spring. Easter changes every year. The date of Easter changes every year because it follows the first eclipse of the spring. So that's why sometimes it's in April, sometimes that's why it's in the beginning of March somewhere, or somewhere in the middle of March. It changes. For my people who don't believe in like religion and don't mess with none of that over there, that's why a lot of us say, well, how can y'all say that this man died on one day and he rose 3 days later, when every year it changes? Every year it changes. What month it was in, what week it was in, it changes. And that's because that man never existed. It is based on the astrological transit of Venus. I talked about earlier today on Patreon on the Black Church, link in bio. And by the way, that's the only way to connect with me, is link in my description box, link in my bio if you're seeing this on IG. Everything has been updated to the Trap House with 2 S's. It is she. That is the only way to connect with me. Do not get duped. Often imitated, never duplicated. It'll never be another cousin L. So don't let that happen to you. Throughout the years, there have been people who have been bamboozled and manipulated, and I just don't want it to happen, especially because we are growing as a tribe here on YouTube. We're already at like 140 something subscribers. I'm grateful. I've been launching videos for 30 days, and we are already at 140 plus subscribers. I'm grateful. I already love all y'all. Cousin. We in the basement at our grandmama house. We exchanging that tea. I love y'all. Okay, so don't get duped. But I talked about that on Patreon earlier today of how Jesus is also Venus. And it's clear as day when you know esoteric and mythological and occult information, and how they have just misnomered it and renomered it, and then resold it to us and repackaged it to us in a whole disarray. But Easter changes every year because it follows the first eclipse of spring. The first eclipse is tomorrow, and then next Sunday is Easter. In essence, we all get our own resurrection every year, which is, again, why that man never existed. The story is just a story of our consciousness, our crown or Christ consciousness being activated to new levels, understanding. It's the whole process of what our body goes through every 28 days, because we are all on a lunar cycle. But we ain't here to talk about none of that today. Y'all subscribe to my Patreon to get all of that. We are shedding our old skin as we prepare for the blessings and the newness of spring and summer, and the unthawing, the defrosting of the world here on the Western Hemisphere. I know now I'm on YouTube, so there are going to be people who maybe are hearing me that live nowhere near me, and we are nowhere even maybe even in the same weather. Oh my gosh, which is really dope. But adjust for your location for this information to apply for you. Some more fun facts. Easter is actually a ritual for the goddesses Ishtar, Inanna, Lilith, even Jesus. That's why they have to align his story with the trail of Venus dropping below the horizon, being gone for 3 days, and then returning to the sky. And it seems as Venus is the brightest it's ever been, usually around February, because that's when that is happening. So again, even by their own astrological dates, the stuff is off. But the ritual to Venus is done all of the time, because like I mentioned last week, all of the goddesses throughout history, no matter who they are, where they are, they tie back to Venus. Even if they are a moon goddess, they are connected to Venus. They are the feminine energy, which is Venus. Even that book, Mars, women are from Venus and men are from Mars. That's why. Mars, masculine, war, sex, sensuality, your well, not even sensuality, your sexuality, your ability to stay driven. That's where the activation of your masculine energy happens, which we all have a Mars placement in our birth chart. So where your Mars placement is how you activate your life force energy, your masculine energy, your ability to get up and go get it. Your Venusian placement in your birth chart is how you love, how you receive love, how you need love. Also where you can make money and extend wealth and receive wealth, so on and so forth. But anyway, the Venusian eclipse that's happening tomorrow is the first eclipse of the year. It is right on cue with all of us going through this rebirth portal God talked about last week, getting an opportunity to see ourselves with a new set of eyes, not the set of eyes that our mama gave us. Because sometimes the belief systems that our mother gave us, and I say our mother because again, we talked about the neocortex and how we developed what we believe in before we even got here. Then when you get here, they give you a name and a religion most times. As soon as you get here, you come out the birth canal and they done told you this is what your name is, this is what you believe in, and you like, yo, but last lifetime, my name was actually Lola. This is true for me. In one of my lifetimes, my name was Lola. I was Panamanian. My name is actually Lola, which is crazy because my name this lifetime is Lauren, and a nickname for Lola is for Lauren is Lola in some Hispanic cultures. So it all comes together. But it's like, no, how you just gonna call me this? And I don't want to do this. And I was raised a Christian, but I'm like, yo, I actually was a polytheist person, so I can't believe that you're putting this on me. Um, but we are getting the opportunity to become who we want to be with this first eclipse. Again, check your birth chart. You can also check your seventh house, your second house, because they are ruled by Taurus and Libra. Taurus second house, seventh house is Libra, and see what areas of Venus is activating your chart, and then also see where your Venus placement is, because it's all coming together. It's all pushing you to a new plateau of greatness. Full moons and eclipses alike are ancestral portals. This is where we can feel the presence of our ancestors. We can dream of them, hear them, feel them. This is where you want to really ramp up your ancestral veneration, Venus-ration. That's where that word comes from, Venus. Working with your ancestors, you want to start with your mother side first, because you know for a fact who your mother is. Now, this is crazy. I'm adopted, and I didn't know who my biological mother is, even when I started working with my ancestors. But my ancestors that raised me led me to the ancestors who birthed me through me doing my ancestral veneration. So you will start with your mother's side. And even if you don't know them, you can still call on the bloodline of your matrilineal bloodline. You can call on the matrilineal bloodline into dirt, into water. Water is ancestral. It holds frequency. It holds memory. It's ancient. It can give you new things in your memory. It can take the memories you don't want to remember. Dirt is plasma. We are all plasma. When we die, we return to plasma. Whether you die and you are buried or you are cremated, you return into plasma. And that's how you will move throughout the cosmic waters of the world. Venus is also made of water. I know that, the soluble that they try to say from NASA that it's a gassy planet, which it may be, but it also has water solubles as well. So anyway, and you return back to the cosmic waters of the universe in order to either reincarnate or expand and upgrade. Not what we're here to talk about today. If you are feeling that you miss your maternal ancestors more than normal, it is because they are present. What they need for us to know is that they are not gone. They have just transitioned. Nothing ever dies. Pharrell, the group Nerd, Nerd. No one ever really dies is what it stands for. No one ever really dies. Nothing ever dies. It just transitions. Reincarnation is real, which is why it's so sad when people get stumped at death, when the person who they love the most leaves, or the person who was like the most impactful in their life leaves, and they feel like that was it. To remember them, to know that they are actively working to try to be in contact with you just as much as you are trying to be in contact with them is important. I have an ancestral veneration class that I host every November. I think it's available on my website right now for the recording. If it's not, I'll make it available, because I don't know why I'm talking about this right now, but I'm sure it will be a beneficial tool to someone who needs it. But that's why, allowing yourself to hear them, feel them, when you randomly start thinking their name, that's because they are trying to call on you. If you randomly see them in a dream, it was not random, it was real. In their first transition, they may not be able to speak to you because they are trying to adapt. The movie Ghost, when Patrick Swayze is trying to figure out how to move the objects around, that's a reflection of literal like ancestral energy. The dude told him, oh no, you're dead now, so you have to figure out how to move things on that side because you're adjusting to this side. You're adjusting to life on this side. That's also why the entire movie, he needed to complete the work that was happening here in order for him to even transition to the other side. And he did not leave her. He did not leave Molly. He just transitioned, and she was going to need to figure out another way to connect with him because now he is a spirit. But as a spirit, he is everywhere. The movie Lucy. Everything you ever want to know is in movies. The movie Lucy. She gained so much consciousness. I think her name is Charlize Theron. I'm probably wrong about that, but she gained so much knowledge. She learned so much that she eventually explodes. She becomes a real computer and explodes because she's too much knowledge. And they said, well, where can I find you? She said, I'm everywhere. I'm in your phones. I'm in your phone lines. I'm in your computer screen. I'm on the the digital advertisements as you walk down the street. I'm in the tree. When you call for me, I'm right there. That movie's so dope. Go watch it. Sometimes it makes me emotional depending on how much I'm missing my mama at the time, because I'm like, oh, she's just letting me know that she's here. But anyway, the ancestors have not died. They have not left. They are just transitioning. I also don't know how weird the people who watch this channel are. I hope you're equally weird with me. And I'm going to say that by frequency and vibration, you likely are. That's the only way you found me. Nibiru has returned. On my Patreon, we've been talking about this for about 4 or 5 years. Nibiru's first sighting again was in 2009, aligned with Michael leaving and Michael saying this is it. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. And it's been sighted again. And it was recently sighted, like just a week or so ago. Everything has been off for the last 4 years. What also happened 4 years ago? The vid. And the reason why the vid happened is they could lock us in the house for a couple of years so they could try to figure out what strategy they were going to use to block out the clouds. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. Nibiru is the energy of the ancestors as well. If you know, you know. And that's also why the things may feel more potent for you right now. I've had some dreams. I've had some connections. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more on my Patreon, weekly verbs, because they my only crew who I get all the way undone and weird with. So the things that I basically talk about on the channel, I will talk more in depth in a closed circle, because that's how things should be done. They are not gone. Use your Venusian veneration routines to give honor to them. If you are struggling, on my IG, I did a reading this morning and I used my past life cards and mother came out. If you have been struggling or you didn't have a good relationship with your mother, this is also providing you the level of potency of healing that you need to build that bridge to get over it. Because you ultimately will have to get over it in order for you to embrace something new. Like I talked about last week on the recording of the eclipse, this is a Libra eclipse, but Venus is in Pisces, Neptune's in Pisces, Saturn is in Pisces, and I believe Mercury is in Pisces. I believe. That is the last house of the zodiac wheel. You got to finalize it. You got to get over it if you're going to move into anything new. Okay. Today, the moon has been void from about 10:45 a.m. to about 3:45 today. So if you don't feel like moving, don't. If you can chill at the house, do. Then it will move into Virgo. So this is a good time for you to chill into the next episode. Maybe write down what it is you want to see happen, what you need to happen for the week. Not manifesting. Tomorrow is Monday. I need to go to the grocery store. I know I need to get gas. Whatever it is that you need to do. The change today is so palpable. You can almost taste it. You can almost touch it. If we were trying to hold a baby, like if someone had a newborn baby and they were trying to give us the baby, I don't know about y'all, but I like to sit down and get in position. Okay, give me the baby, because it's so precious. So I don't want to drop this little motherfucker. That's how I felt about my child too. I was so happy I was lying down when they gave it to me. So anyway, let me give you this newborn precious beam of life. Let me sit down while you give it to me, so I can get in position to receive this new child, this new life, this new abundance and prosperity. If you were giving birth, you would need to get into a position to deliver, and not the delivery position that they try to invoke here in the West, the actual position of gravity pulling a child out of your womb and the baby helping you do so. And that is the squat position, so that I can receive this child, so that I can deliver this child into the world and receive this child and this new blessing and opportunity. That is what we will use this energy of today. And we talked last week about how Virgo is the maiden, the only feminine energy of the zodiac that has an archetype of the feminine, which is Mary, the maiden, Venus. Okay. This energy will apply for the next 6 months. And the beautiful thing about eclipses, I think I said this last week, there's no reason for you to try to manifest. There's no reason for you to set a new intention. There's no reason for that. You just simply must get in position to deliver and to receive, and then get in position to be molded every day. Show up every day and be molded into what it is that you're trying to become. I recently had a new endeavor about 8 or 9 months ago, and it's something that I was previously really, really good at, and then I had a 4 year break, and then I went back to it, and I was a little dusty. Well, I thought I was dusty, but I was actually still hitting methods. But for myself, I was being too hard on myself. It was the molding, and I had to show up every day. And a few times I wanted to quit, but I had to show up every day. I had to show up every day, and that has paid off for me and has worked out in my favor, and everything is just amazing because I allowed myself to be molded. I allowed myself to be crafted. I knew that I had a God-given craft, and this is another thing. You may have a God-given talent. You may have a God-given ability to heal, help, hear, whatever. But then there is someone who has more expertise than you. And I don't mean one of these new places, and even master classes. Sometimes they work, but a lot of times people try to release a master class and they lack the fucking knowledge to be master of anything. They haven't mastered anything. So seeking someone who has more expertise and then paying for their services that are helping your expertise is crafting, honing in, molding your God-given talent. And that's the reason why, it's important to not forget that part of the puzzle. Tomorrow, happy lunar eclipse. The real eclipse will be here, occurring at 2 a.m. Adjust your time. Most of us will be sleeping while this metamorphosis of our life is occurring. As we get our day started, it will be important for us to walk forth with no inhibitions, with no blockages, with no obstacles that we may even previously go to sleep with. You may go to sleep worried tonight, but you need to go to sleep with the faith, knowing joy. Joy will come in the morning. What? See, listen. I always tell people you got to mix your old time religion, which is your ancestors, with your new age alchemy, but it's not necessarily new age. It just may be new to you. Alchemy been here. It is alchemy. Alchemy is life. Alchemy is the beginning of time. Metaphysics are the beginning of time, but it may be new to you this lifetime, or the way that you are applying it to your life may be new to you. And mixing those two things take it to the next level. Ain't nothing but a little bit of hoodoo, as they call it, right? So allowing yourself to mix with and blend with the realization that life is literally changing. The caterpillar is becoming the butterfly as we sleep tonight. You will wake up with new wings. And that is when a butterfly is most vulnerable, when they just now get their wings. One, they don't even know they got their wings because they went to sleep as a caterpillar, a little slimy green, bald, little silicas, just had little silicas all over it, right? It woke up the baddest bitch in the world. The ugly duckling didn't know that it was the baddest bitch either. Once it became the baddest bitch, even her sisters and brothers didn't know that she was now the baddest bitch when they seen her. So you're vulnerable because now everybody sees how great you are and they want to be on you. Just like a celebrity, new song, new whatever, everybody want to be on them. Let them do one thing that we don't like. Canceled. Get them out of here. One hit wonder. We don't want you no more. Right? That's why they're vulnerable. That's why this is the time where you must really stick to yourself through the internal reflection, through the molding. The world can already see how amazing you are just by you walking in the room tomorrow at work. Just by you walking back into your friend group on the weekend. They're going to be like, something's different about them. What is that? This is when you will be the most vulnerable, but this is when you are the most prepared to receive the glow up and the gloss up that you have been waiting for, okay? Tuesday, the moon will still be in Libra. And we can examine the Libra and Aries parts of our chart because now the next eclipse will be in Aries. That will be on April 8th. That's the eclipse that they're getting really crazy with. I told you I'm 38 years young. I remember when I was in 4th grade in 1994, we did watch an eclipse. They gave us glasses. They said, hey, y'all go out there, y'all do what y'all do. It was really cool. I haven't done that since. It was really dope. That was preparation. They prepared for that, for all the 4th graders to go outside. Maybe it was the whole school, for all of us to go outside. This eclipse, they're telling you to have water, have food, prepare for outages. The army has been activated. I don't know if y'all been on the clock app, but the army has been activated. They are going to start in places. It's some thing going on. I talked about it on my Patreon. I decoded it on my Patreon. That is, looking at the general information that they try to give you as a truth in the news. We go and decode it by number, astrology, transits, things of that nature, and get to the bottom of that nitty gritty, right? So this eclipse is nothing to fear. That solar eclipse that's happening April 8th is nothing to fear, but it will be an Aries solar eclipse. So it's the head of the astrological wheel. It is when we start the real new year. Again, we're in Aries season. So it is when we will start our real new life. It is the real beginning of something. That's again why the whole entire world is seeming to burn down. Saturn is in Pisces. Everything is finalizing in that Pisces energy before we go into the newness of what must be, what has to be, right? So take notes on whatever transpires tomorrow under the eclipse. Pay attention to it. If it attempts to leave, let it happen. And whatever debris is left from the eclipse, tend to it. Figure it out. Like, I didn't even know that this was here. How long has this been hanging around? It's time for it to go. Okay. We will have the moon void, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times this week. Whenever the moon is void, it is not working. Therefore, you should not be working. Anything that you attempt to establish, initiate, commit to that is new under the moon being void of transit will not stick. And it could even turn into a shit show because it has nothing to cling on to. Wednesday, the moon will be void, off and on. And this will be our sign that we also should not be trying to do too much heavy lifting after this eclipse, after it shifts and rocks our life. Or it already has rocked our life. And we already know what we need to do. I knew what I needed to do. I could not believe that I spoke last week about how, or maybe this a couple of weeks ago, but I had been being energetically attacked for about a year or so. So that was completely throwing off my scope of practice and resonance. It was insane. And finally, when I was cued back in about a month ago, things started to shift again because I started moving differently again. I started moving the way I needed to. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but we said this last week about the familiars. Your familiar knows what you're going to do before you know what you're going to do, right? So sometimes dipping off, you know they following you. And instead of going your normal way home, and somebody maybe needs to physically do this, instead of going your normal way home, you in fact take another route and you go around the city. Maybe go around the nice part of the city. Go see some houses you've never seen before. Go stop at a grocery store that you usually don't grocery shop at. Go eat some food that you typically would only save for a special occasion. Whatever it is, dip off on the enemy real quick. They'll never see that coming. They won't see that coming. And if the enemy is cross-watching this video, well, 222 on the clock. It was 3222, but still 222 on the clock. If the enemy is cross-watching this video, don't worry, you still won't be able to catch the path because God, I'll just keep bending the curve and bending the curve. You have to sometimes throw the familiar off. You have to throw the enemy off and go do something that even they didn't see coming because you didn't see coming. You didn't think that you were going to go do that in order for you to reapproximate yourself with the energy that is rightfully for you. So now I'm aware back to almost 4 years ago who I was completely mentally, was when I was my healthiest and my most mentally vibrant. And I need anyone to hear that. 4 years ago, they locked us in the house. So things was happening. They tried to dumb us down. 4 years ago, a lot of people reached a pinnacle that they had not reached before, vibrationally, financially, mentally, spiritually. And then they tried to throw us back into a weird-ass society that was never right from the first place, but now it's been altered. The timeline has been split and jumped and put together the wrong way. And now we are attempting to not only unthaw from the winter, but we are unthawing from the freeze of the 4 years. So we are slowly but surely returning back to who we once were or who we were supposed to be. And again, the upgrade is here. The glow up is here. The ascension is here. So while we are adapting to that, we need not try to heavy lift. We will need to ease our way back into this as we adapt to that. So Thursday, the moon will be in Scorpio. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? It's part of my working process is to watch The Wiz. But when I saw that the moon was in Scorpio, it was literally like, this is the day that the Lords have made. This is the day that the gods have made, and I will rejoice and be happy in it because, again, we will be seeing, feeling, and doing differently than we were previously doing just 72 hours before. Just 120 hours before, we're going to be feeling a complete different way, feeling empowered. Possibilities will be endless. Absorb the energy of realizing that you deserve what you desire. The things that you desire are within a breath's reach of you, are within a vibrational pattern for you, and that suffering does not need to occur in order for you to receive. That's the focal point on Thursday, Jupiter Day. Let that be the energy that you vibrate out into the atmosphere of, I don't have to hustle or sacrifice to receive these things. I need to be in position to deliver, be in position to receive. I think her name is Florence Scovel Shinn. She has an affirmation: I do perfect work and receive perfect pay. Whether you're a business owner or whether you go to work for, a living, whatever it is, you don't need to exasperate yourself or overexert yourself just because they want you to do busy work. Wish I would. I'm doing what I got paid to do. I'm doing what I came in here to do. I'm going to be in here for the hours to do the work that I'm supposed to do, and whatever don't get done, that's not up to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, not going to stress myself, overstretch myself for anything, or even for if you have your own business. If you have your own business, lowering your prices so that they are more affordable for a person, an entity that is not deserving of being accessible to your energy, will have you attracting squalor, will have you literally running your brand into the ground, running your business into the ground. You put them prices where they're supposed to be at. And the vibrationally aligned people, place, and thing that's supposed to be with you will pay that and then some. Because not only will they pay it, but then vibes attract vibes. Vibes attract tribes. So if a person who is willing to pay the price to get whatever access or product from you that you know it is worth it, is willing to pay it, they're going to attract people who already think that too, who have that same flow, who have that same currency in order to pour into you. So let go of feeling like you need to suffer. Even release the proverbial debt that you have accumulated throughout life, like we led this reading with, that you've accumulated throughout life, throughout disbelief, throughout things that are no longer yours, things that were never yours. I used to tell my clients, before you adapt to a principle or a belief system that you feel is tradition, because my grandmama told me, and my grandmama told her, and my mama told her, and my auntie told me, stop, think about it, reflect, and investigate on, where did your grandmother even get that from? Okay, so where did her grandmother get it from? And you might just find out that your great grandmom's mom went to a bridge game in 1841, and there, in a conversation with one of her bitter friends at the bridge table, who things weren't going right for her, things just kept falling apart, she breathed that shit onto the cards and into the food and the tea that your great grandmother's mother was inheriting or eating. And that now became her belief. So instead of her vibrating in the wealth consciousness, the we deserve because we exist consciousness, she started vibrating in the, well, I have to suffer, I have to struggle because Jimmy might leave me. Oh my God, I don't want to happen to me what happened to Miss Shirley. I need something else better, that vibration. And then she told her daughter that, and then her daughter told her daughter that, and then her daughter told her daughter that, and then her daughter became you. Or you became the son that heard, women ain't shit, so you don't need to respect them. We just need to be getting to these monies. You should break a bitch. You don't even worry about trying to build nothing with these females. They lie. You could have come from that bloodline. And coming from that bloodline is the reason why you have no respect for women, or why you have no respect for yourself, in order to have respect for women, in order to value the relationship of that. But whatever it may be, whether poverty, relationship, I deserve better life, potency, the type of job I want to do, like we said earlier, whatever it may be, this is the gateway that you get to start letting it completely burn to the side. Let it fall off like rubble, castle to rebels, literally. Friday, the moon will be void from 10:40 a.m. to 2:50 p.m. Then it will be in Sagittarius. Hello from the other side. literally a state of reflection and gratitude will be invoking and emoting and coming out of you if you do it right. If you do it right, follow these here steps. This is your mission if you choose to accept it. Follow these here steps of letting the world and the universe and the planets and astrology and your spiritual belief system upgrade you. And you will have a great story to tell. So we're gonna see what these chords got to say for us today. I gotta put my computer on the charger. Don't worry about my life. Worry about yours. Don't worry about mine. Worry about yours. And I gotta plug it up. This is crazy. Okay. We did Reiki meditation Black Church on Patreon this AM at 9 a.m. every Sunday. And our focus for the week was our root chakra was blocked. After Reiki, it was open and active. And then we also had our throat and our heart chakra that came out as the focuses for the week. But the grief and the throat and the heart chakra paired with one another because it was bittersweet, having to love your ancestors from a distance, and processing that grief, or even maybe processing the grief of losing someone or something, friendship losses. We've been talking about that in January. Friendship losses, relationship losses, losing yourself. And only now realizing I really am that. I'm that BIT. I'm that HNIC. I'm that all that. It's me. That's what's up. Right? So we're going to see what our focus for the week is. Ooh, in the root chakra as well. Soulmate. Shadow focus. Solar plexus. So it's in the lower chakra spaces for our focus for the week. I like to read from this book that goes with these cards because it's just always eloquent and poetic. Okay, soulmate is our first focus here in the root chakra. The root chakra is also our ancestral chakra. Because, and this is also why the story of Adam and Eve is bullshit. How do we come from a rib when you show me a pregnant man and I'll change my opinion? You won't be able to do that. And I'm not offending anyone. I'm just saying we're not talking about as of recent. We are talking about the biological way of children being conceived. Okay. And that's not being disrespectful at all. Women are born with every egg that they will ever have. Therefore, if our grandmother was on the playground or on the plantation, great grandmother on the playground or on the plantation, we were too. Even if we were not born, even if you've never met your great grandmother, you were still there, right? Your mother was there. Therefore, back to that theory of if your grandmother's mother's mother inherited poverty consciousness from someone that was not even your family, but just through epigenetics, through a conversation, it is still affecting you today. And you need to let it go. Okay? So, root chakra. Soulmate. It says a rose without thorns. How on cute. Because a rose fully developed in a natural space should be left alone, no matter how beautiful it is. You do not want to pick a rose when it is fully blossomed. Just appreciate it. Let that rose bush do what it does every year. Don't pick it. Don't break it. Don't kill it. Just because you want to trap its beauty. Because even when you trap its beauty, now you done killed it. Because you will never be able to keep it alive like that unless you start an entire rose bush again. So, a rose without thorns that's already been picked, that's already been propped and prepped for you to have and enjoy is also like one of the most beautiful acceptances, to be able to receive the unfolding and the beauty of a rose and smell it and actually touch it without being pricked. That is where many of us are going. We are finally realizing that we deserve to be loved. We deserve to be touched. We deserve to remove our thorns so that something can actually get close enough to love us the way that we deserve. This card indicates changing old communication patterns and being open to a new way of interacting. You may no longer be able to have conversations that don't sustain your authenticity. Freedom lies ahead, better than you can imagine. A rose without thorns. And the affirmation is, it is time for me to face my true feelings. To enjoy the beauty of a rose, we must risk being pricked by our inner thorns. This offers a new way to live. The best incentive to change is love. Ask yourself, what am I embracing? This card indicates no longer living a lie. Speak your truth. Choose love. Freedom through transformation, resistance through commitment, and you will receive unexpected outcomes and truth. Because again, the soulmate, I know that's such a new age term that people love to run off with. Oh, they're my soulmate. They're my soulmate. I'm looking for my twin flame. The soulmate is you. You're not going to be able to find a person until you can find yourself. You can't find this other person that you're hoping to build with, which again, the root chakra is your wealth, your money, your love, your ability to be loved, your ability to have intimacy, your ability to connect in a sexual way. If you've ever had sexual trauma or even had trauma through miscarriage or baby, leaving the earth another way, then this can severely impact the way that you have confidence about yourself, the way that you are intimate with your partner, the way that you remove the thorns for you to even be appreciated by a partner. And sometimes the thorn is the bitterness. Sometimes the thorn is the ability to think that you're always right. Sometimes the thorn is putting your friends before your relationships, work before relationships, family before relationships. Sometimes the thorns, that's what the thorn is. Your trust issues, that's what the thorn is. The shadow focus, solar plexus, abundance. And I'm sorry that this is so long, y'all, but I'm just letting spirit do what it is that they do. Come together like glue. Okay, abundance. Gold represents the power of the mind to choose. One choice may be wise, the other may be foolish. Choosing well may involve temporary sacrifice in order to gain your desires. Remember that you can always make a new choice. Remember, it doesn't matter what your mom believed in. It doesn't matter what your dad told you. It doesn't matter what you have previously lacked. It doesn't matter what has been previously your truth. You can change the truth. If you subscribe to Spectrum today, but you don't like how they're treating you, you can unsubscribe and subscribe to somebody else tomorrow. You don't like, Sprint don't exist no more. If you don't like T-Mobile, you can go to Verizon. It exists. Like, there are always other options. You don't have to stay within one subscription. And that is what is true for our ability to believe what we deserve abundantly. Some of us, again, may have poverty consciousness. Maybe you don't have poverty consciousness. Maybe your parents just gave you a fear of receiving. They make you feel as if, again, you have to work hard to receive it. If you don't struggle, then you don't deserve it. If you didn't sacrifice, then it's not yours. And that is not true, because you were born inherently connected to the vibration of abundance in the universe. We were born rich. We were born perfect. That's why I don't fuck with church, because they try to tell you that a newborn, beautiful, perfect baby came in here a sinner and they need to be cleansed. How? Where? When? Why? What? That's crazy. We came in here perfect. We came in here abundant. We came in here aligned to the perfect abundance. But if we birth into a family that has disconnected from the belief of abundance, and now we are in poverty, or we think that we are not well enough, or we have been abused, or what have you, we may forget that we have the internal abundance. Look at the picture. On the picture, you have the girl. They both see this. Both of these people can see this here, the treasure chest. The girl is like, well, let me play with my pendulum. Let me connect with my spirit guides. Let me just chill, because regardless, everything is fine. It looks like in the back there's a for sale sign in front of her house. So regardless, she's still going to move on. Regardless, she's still going to move from this space no matter what's happening. She knows that she has the internal abundance within. She likely has a family that loves her. They have everything provided for them that they need. They are connected to the internal abundance and resource of the world. Then look at this fool. He can see it too. He's so worried, he's drinking himself into a rut. He need a drink because he's driving him to drink. He's drinking himself into a rut. So worried about, how am I going to get in here to get this gold? Completely forgetting that he is the abundant one. And if he would just change his mindset, then his solar plexus, which is your ego, the home of your ego and your soul, if he would just allow himself to connect with his soul's compass, his soul's purpose, then he will reactivate the internal abundance that's already his. Abundance, the card reads, I only seek to give you what you ask for. Think about your relationship with money. Are you the wise girl or the foolhardy man? Money is naturally attracted towards appreciation and gratitude. Be wary of using your financial situation as an excuse to avoid doing something. Are your thoughts and acts around money empowering or disempowering you? I'm not going to invest in myself. I'm not going to figure out how I can go back to school or get a certification or learn something more about this or enhance my own life some way because I don't have it. I financially don't have it. The job doesn't pay me enough. It's always an excuse instead of a reason why. Are you going to make an excuse why you can't do it or a reason why you have to do it? There will be abundance through gratitude by releasing regret and learning to be good with money. So maybe reapproximating your idea of money, reapproximating your idea of wealth and abundance and what it all actually means to you will help you be able to realize that you deserve what you desire. I don't know if I said this publicly or if it was on Patreon, but I said, play the manifestation game with yourself. I will be able to manifest someone buying me lunch on Thursday. I will be able to attract someone sending me gas money or me finding money on the ground or whatever. Something that is small that you will almost completely just forget about after you say it. And then when it happens, you'll be like, oh my God, it's the power of my word. In order for you to remember how powerful you are, you sometimes have to even test your own self. I'm pulling from some past life cards, y'all. We're going to see what they say. And the reason why I'm pulling from the past life cards is because the Libra eclipse tomorrow is in the South Node. The South Node, the bottom of the moon, is also your past life energy. It's exactly who you were before you came into this life. Now, some people who have the actual South Node in Libra, they are actually feeling the real deep effects of peeling apart who they used to be, letting go of that, because your South Node is who you used to be, your North Node is who you must be. Your North Node is this life purpose, what you need to try to be more like, but it is hard to be something you have never been before. It's easy for you to repeat outdated patterns. So I'm pulling from the past life cards so we can see maybe what energies are coming up that may be potent right now, some energies that we have finally transmuted and left behind, and just what's going on. Also, you can follow me on IG, again, Trap House everywhere with 2 S's. And I pulled some past life cards, a different deck earlier, and those energies were interesting. Okay, so the region that's coming up is Central America. So there could be some people who have either recently returned back to the Caribbean or to, that area of the world, or they feel led to go to that area of the world and are having somewhat of a deep spiritual connection or awakening there. Some may have already been there. You have been there, and because you went to the Central America countries and places, you have been reactivated of what your actual life purpose is. If that resonates with you, I encourage you to research the Central American countries, research the people, the way that they speak, the way that they dress, the ancient people, because remember, this is your past. So you may not resonate with what you see right now, but you may resonate with what once was. Past life revolution. So this can not only signify that, yes, someone maybe fought in the Revolutionary War, but this can also give the energy of a warrior. Once a warrior, you're always a warrior. The next eclipse on April 8th is in Aries, ruled by Mars, the warrior. So through this eclipse valley, we are learning when and where to put on our armor and when we can take it off because we are actually safe again. You can't always go to war. It can't always be about, I got to protect what's mine. I can't let anybody get close to me. Rose with thorns. A rose without thorns is what we are trying to accumulate. Another energy that comes out. Abandoned. And again, this is maybe being abandoned from birth, being abandoned in your childhood, being abandoned in your relationships, past life energy. And the Libra eclipse is offering the nurturing and healing that is necessary for us to get over that culmination of events and realize that it's great to have friends, it's great to have family, it's great to have a lover, but most times, the most modifying, penetrating parts of your life, you will go through by yourself. So instead of looking at it as, oh, I'm abandoned and no one loved me, look at it as, I have the dexterity to go through this situation alone. And because I was able to go through that, I will be able to appreciate the tribe that I do attract. The final energy that we have, Lemuria. What did I say? Venus is water, lunar, eclipse, lunar, moon, luna, Venusian, woman, water, the first people returning to the Lemurians, just like the Babylonians and the Sumerians prayed to Inanna. Inanna is Venus, Ishtar, Easter. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful that the universe, the gods, the ancestors, they do what they do. They do what we do. Because I'm just pulling the cards, as you can see. The return to your ancient civilization, the return to your ancient practices. I don't know if y'all saw, but Russia discovered or revealed that they have some of the most ancient photos of the disciples and Jesus. And I think that's dope because, again, it confirms what most people of color have known our entire lives, that if this man was in Israel, in ancient Israel, and he had hair of wool and he had skin of bronze, then he would have been a Negro. We already knew these things, right? But I just don't want people to get lost in that. Does not prove that he was real. It just proves that the first depictions of him, which at the Council of Nicaea, they had to come up with a depiction of something. They had to come up with a depiction of someone, because every human needs to be able to call something someone. I named my daughter what I named her because I couldn't just say, hey, little girl over there. I had to give her a name. We couldn't just say that brown stick with leaves on it. It's better called a tree. Goddesses sometimes cannot answer because you are not calling her of her goddess name. You are calling her of her forgotten name, or you are calling her of the name that she no longer goes by, so she cannot serve you. Same thing with any god. That's with any god. And the way that you pray to these gods is important too. And I don't just mean through ritual and sacrifice. I mean, are you on your knees begging for them to help you? Oh my God, I hope that you can help me. Or are you standing on your 2 feet because you know that you were created in the energy of the Most High, and the Most High energy don't bow down for nobody. I'm going to stand up and know that I deserve these things. And because I deserve them, can you deliver quite quickly? Thank you very much. Post hastily. Psalm 102. Anyway. I just give gratitude. I give gratitude for how these things are going. I'm going to pull a couple more cards. I've been talking now almost for an hour. Hope you got YouTube Premium so you can swipe this video up and keep going about your life. Or that you have the setup that you can... A card fell out. Unparalleled. Unparalleled energy. Not to be played with in the least. You are not to be played with in the least. You're finally realizing that you're not to be played with in the least. The sun, you're bright as the sun. This even looks like an eclipse, y'all, because of how that yellow stops right here. That's another energy spirit. Pisces, because what I say, Neptune, Saturn, Venus, Mars, I think even Mercury, are all in Pisces right now. The end of the zodiac. It's time for it to wrap up. We are in the end of a Piscean age. It's Aquarius energy now. We're in the end of the Capricornian age. It's the Piscean rule now. Get into the thick of your spirituality. Get into your own moral and spiritual compass and what it is that you feel and what you believe in. When you see the Pisces sign, if she wasn't standing in front of it, it also looks like a vagina. Praying to the mother energy that is within you, praying to the feminine energy that is within you. Even if you are of a masculine energy, you still have the feminine energy within you and will need it. You need your intuition in order for you to survive it. I mean, even if you the hooded street nigga, your intuition is what saves you from a lot of things, and your intuition is your feminine energy. So learn to cater to it. And I'm saying that because the moon is in Virgo, and Virgo men hate to embrace their feminine aspects, but when they finally do, they go to the top. Don't know who needed to hear that either. Air signs, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. We are Libra eclipse tomorrow. Let the winds change you. We are in a wind advisory here in Texas, where I live at. I said, well, one, they could be playing with the weather again. Because again, it's the eclipse and they just trying to do everything they can just for us to not see what's really here and what's really going on. The return of the electric folk. That we can say that. Or we could be like, damn, the eclipse is bringing these windstorms. Venus is coming through here like, I said, I don't like it. I said, I don't like that. I don't want that here anymore. Let me whisk that away, wash that away, and bring in something new. Don't spend too much time in contemplation. Fortune favors action. And she has a glass of water. Once you know what you have to do. So Sunday through Wednesday, we're going to be in deep reflection. Maybe fasting, cleansing, unpacking. And by Thursday, it is time for us to activate what we've learned. Move in what we've learned. Because that's the one thing. What I can say about this YouTube channel. If I kept trying to put it off for the perfect time, until I had the perfect background, until I had the perfect, I would have waited again another year or two. Life waits for no one. Time waits for no one. And now I'm able to connect with so many amazing people just because I finally was acting on what I was given to do. And let that be a lesson for anyone. I saw another girl say this a few months ago. Lessen the time in between you getting the download and you acting on the download. Happy home. And this looks like they might have a full moon, but that's an eclipse back there. It also looks like the sun in the Nibiru. But anyway, happy home. Things are balancing out to give you the restructuring in the home that you deserve and that you desire, because you are facing your own truth. You are choosing your own truth. Even the pink color is Venusian, and they both have that pink energy on there. The blackening. We went through the blackening, although pink is not part of the alchemy process still. And now we are going through the pinkening. Because we are realizing that we have just been mirroring or reflecting the energy of our environment, and now we deserve something better. We want something different. We want a better environment. We want a different environment. I'm a person who moved away from my hometown 15 years ago. I've only gone back to visit like 2 or 3 times in those 15 years. Some people may say I'm brand new. Some people will say, oh, she thinks she's too better. She's too good for the town. She's blah, 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 blah. The truth of the matter is, every time I go back to the town, there's a part of my pain that, yes, I can deal with it and I can face it and I can go over it or whatever, but I realize that it takes me so much longer to get that mirror effect up off of me than it does when I'm away. Creating the happy home away from where I came from. So respect the boundary. Respect your own boundaries. When you realize that the further you get away from a person, a situation, or an environment, the happier you are, the more you need to embrace that. The final energy is, don't focus on monetary issues, focus on spirit. Because when you realize that you internally have the abundance that you seek, it can find you a hell of a lot more easy. Y'all, this is it. This concludes the reading. This concludes the Trapstrology. I hope that it was good for you. I hope that you have a great week. I can't wait to see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one. Remember, link in my bio or link in the description box wherever you see this. The only ways to connect with me: Patreon, Spotify, thetraphouse.com, 2 S's on the house. And I look forward to connecting with y'all. Holla back.